Hey, this is Michael Lindsay from Vital MX. We're out here at Kahia Creek today with Husqvarna's 2017 FX350 and FX450 4-stroke. These are Husqvarna's off-road specific bikes. They've got a few key changes from the motocross models. This year though, they're only doing the 350 and the 450 in the 4-stroke range. For me personally, I spent the majority of my day with the FX350 on both the motocross and off-road sections we had. The suspension is set up for off-road, but definitely Husky being this setup for the US side, it's a little bit stiffer. It's not too bad on the motocross. It's pretty good in chop, little low speed stuff. It definitely doesn't have a ton of hold up. You don't brake too deep with this bike. You definitely flow with it a little bit more. If you downside jumps, it's fine. It doesn't have a ton of bottoming resistance for real big slap downs. For the 350 on the power, it's a little bit more mellow, definitely in the motocross bike, both with the ECU and the 6-speed semi-close ratio transmission they're using. It's a little bit harder to ride a moto. You have to keep it in second gear in the corners. You definitely have to keep it revved up. It kind of feels like you're riding a 250 in that sense, just because of the way the ratios work out, because it's really set up for you to use first in a lot more of the tire stuff once you get to the off-road.
I spent most of my time on the FX450 out here at Kahia, out in the trails behind the track, getting an impression of it in the off-road. And for me, it's really well-rounded, honestly. My impression of the bike is that it's set up a little bit more for, I'm about 160, 155 pounds. I think the bike is set up out of the crate for somebody a little bit heavier than me, because the only thing I really noticed was the shock was a little bit stiff, but that's easy to fix with a few adjustments. The forks for me were really plush and compliant, and it was really comfortable to ride out in the trails. Like most of Husky's line, the power for me was very rider-friendly. It was broad and very smooth off the bottom. It didn't have like a jerk your arms out of the socket hit, but it had enough power to get you where you needed to go. They do have a couple little adjustments, different maps. Personally, I like the second mapping best because it had a little bit more hit, it livened up the engine a little bit better. And for me, I like a motor with a lot more bottom end, so that improved it for me. I didn't mess with the traction control too much because for the same reason that I like a little bit more hit off the bottom. And even though it's dry and slick out here, I like to control that power myself. But for somebody who's a little bit more of a hammerhead who likes to just, twist the throttle and not have as much finesse with the bike, I think the traction control is a really cool feature.
What's really unique with the 450 is it actually has the 5-speed ratio transmission out of the motocross model, and the only real changes are to the ECU for the power, so it feels the most like a motocross bike on the track. Just being able to flip that mapping control switch into the little bit more aggressive map can really liven it up for moto, and then just switch back to the standard for the off-road. It really gives somebody the ability to have a bike to do a little bit of everything. All in all, Husqvarna's done a really good job of taking these bikes. They are meant to be off-road bikes, but I mean, you can do enduro, you can do desert, you can do moto. These bikes are really set up to do about 90% of what people are capable of in all those conditions. It's a really great all-around bike for somebody that isn't looking to have multiple bikes in the garage. They just want one that they can go out, ride, be happy, and do everything.